It's really an amazing feeling for me. It's kind of like bringing it home. So, being able to have our international premiere in front of a Canadian audience is really is really a special thing for me. The film is obviously on the surface about five women who are competing in a rally race in Palestine. But really, I think the film is about breaking through obstacles in your life and living your life but on your own terms. It's much more universal than just car racing. Well, I think this, in some ways, the subject sort of chose me as well. Like I came across, I had heard of that there was racing going on in the West Bank, and went to see what was going on, and saw that there were women that were competing. And I just thought, it's so, it's surprising to hear that there's racing going on in the West Bank, considering all of the limitations in mobility, and so unexpected to see women at the heart of this, this crazy event. And I just thought, what an unexpected story, and just a story that would be, such a great story to tell. And I think I had always been, as being, Canadian from a Lebanese background, had always been looking for, stories that would help bridge sort of those divides that were taking place, in Canada specifically, but really all over North America, between sort of the Arab world and our lives here in North America. And so I just thought what a perfect story that, people could really sort of get behind, because it's something that's very familiar, and then take you into, this world that you don't necessarily know. Yeah, definitely. I mean, documentaries, I think, can be more than just providing information. That there can be entertainment, right? And this film is definitely very entertaining. I'd like people, in North America, to definitely take away the fact that, some of the issues that are going on in Palestine, to take a different look at what's happening in that region than what is necessarily being shown on the nightly news. To maybe see like the Palestinian struggle for freedom and self-determination in a little bit of a different light. And then there's also, like, in terms of the Arab world, again, is to see that, there are these women that are living there, because there's a lot of misconceptions even within the Arab world about Palestine, because many people, from the rest of the Arab world can actually travel there. So their knowledge of Palestine is also very different. And to see these women, like, racing cars and living, the life that they want to live is very inspiring for men and women from around the Arab world. So, but I think first and foremost, yeah, I think entertainment is a great way to get at those other issues. I think for me, the challenge really was, there's five of those girls and there's just one of me. So, racing around trying to capture what I needed to capture, and being in all of these different places at the same time. Because often it was, just myself and a translator that were working together. And then there's always issues of, when filming in the West Bank of just in terms of mobility, you often, it's hard to plan, because you don't know what's going to happen with the political situation. You don't know if there's going to be, a checkpoint on the road, or a flag checkpoint, or if you can get to A to B. So sometimes, you have to be incredibly flexible in terms of, of when you want to shoot and what you want to shoot, and those types of things. So sort of planning out your day can sometimes be a little bit of a frustration. But I mean, in terms of like the community support, we had no problem filming in Palestine at all, in people's homes and in public spaces throughout the West Bank. People were very, very supportive. We found them, supportive of the girls and supportive of us telling their story. Yeah, I mean, and it shows, like, I guess in the film too, is like, some of the checkpoint scenes where there were clashes going on, and when Betty got shot, obviously that was, a moment of very, it was a very tense moment, and we were, scared, like, we shot, but I mean, what was going on behind there was actually, we were quite scared and concerned. I think that there's the violence in Palestine happens. It's quite often, and it's also quite unpredictable in some respects, and very predictable in other respects. So things like clashes, are going to happen. There's certain flashpoints within the West Bank where things happen, and you try to avoid them from a personal level. And there's a huge, like, sort of chain of communication amongst people to help each other out. So there's something going on here, and there would be a phone call installed or posts on Facebook and things like that that basically, warn people from driving, or going passing through this area or not. My grandparents, all four of my grandparents, came to Canada from Lebanon in the early 1900s. So both of my parents were born in southern Saskatchewan, actually, and then we were born in northern Alberta, and our family just was really, it was kind of an interesting mixture. It was very Canadian in some respects and very Lebanese in others. I'd like to say that we, played a lot of hockey and ate a lot of hummus. So it was sort of this multicultural sense, of kind of swirling around in our home. So I feel like, we were definitely connected to many aspects of the Arab culture, Lebanese culture, definitely the food. Our grandmothers were, with us quite a bit, but felt very rooted in Canada as well. I think that you have, in terms of your perspective, you come from a slightly different perspective because you kind of have one foot in each culture. So I think that helps you in terms of definitely of access into places like Palestine and gaining trust because I am Arab and even though my Arabic isn't really strong, but I still have a familiarity with the culture and that helps in terms of understanding the place and gaining access and trust from the people that you're working with. But at the same time, you're still an outsider and you still have like a little bit of a perspective or a different perspective in looking and maybe a little bit more curiosity because it's not, you don't take it for granted as if you were, living and being brought up in a particular culture. So I think that I think it's advantageous to sort of come from that type of background.